You want to introduce our next guest?
I do. He has been a part of the DC Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week. He is all about fashion, y'all, and y'all know we love fashion here. So y'all, put your hands together for our newest Spotlight family member, fashion designer, Mr. Doncel Brown.
Give it up, give it up, give it up.
Woo!
Hey. Good to have you, brother.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
This is awesome. I love it.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing amazing. How are you?
I'm doing great. I read about you and I said to myself, wow. And a lot of the things that I read about you, Doncel, actually, you kind of took flight recently.
Yeah.
You launched your first, I don't know what it's, you launched your first fashion line in 2021, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's give our audience a taste of who you are. Who is Doncel Brown?
Oh, that is a deep question.
Yeah.
I feel like, with Generation Typo, when I was first kind of formulating the brand, was really in quarantine of 2020.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I was forced to be like stuck in the house, and just to get through my own sanity was through my creative. And I was like, okay, let me put all this out on paper. Because ever since I first started working, I started working when I was 16, and I ended up in the tech field and just stayed there my entire career. And I moved up really fast just because I was always open to listening to those older, younger than me. Like, it didn't matter. Like, if you were willing to give me some knowledge, I wanted to learn and just take it for my own. Mm-hmm. So through that, I moved up and became a leader and kind of, won all these accolades, like youngest manager to do this and youngest leader to do that.
Wow.
And
that's dope, though.
Yes.
Yeah, no one really knew. And that was the craziest part. Like, I was so afraid to say my age because I didn't want people to judge me on the age. I wanted them to judge me on the work. So for the longest time, I'm sitting in rooms with people usually like 20, 30 years older than me, and the conversation always came up. It's like, oh, well, that's what's wrong with, the younger generations. Like, they don't know hard work. Like, they don't know how to do this. Everything's easy. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, dang, like,
you are the young.
I hired like 5 of y'all.
Right.
But they don't know that. And I just feel like there was a bigger message that needed to be had. So I was like, oh, how can I put this together? And at first it was going to be a podcast. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to convince you to listen to my voice for an hour and a half to talk about all these generational curses and trauma and mental health. So then that's when I landed on fashion. I was like, if I can put something in front of somebody and spark dialogue without them even knowing it, it'll be the easiest way to kind of start this conversation.
I love that.
That's dope.
That is so dope.
Thank you.
And so what first steps did you take to get into fashion?
Yeah, so that's a great question because I didn't know anything about fashion. Outside of I knew what I like to wear, and I knew that my colors had to be the right way. And I always cared about my appearance, but as far as like formal fashion schooling, I had none of that. So what I was able to do was we started with just T-shirts and hoodies because I did graphic design ever since I could get on a computer when I was like 13.
Really?
And it was real simple, just like paint drawings and small stuff. And then I started to learn Photoshop and all the different Adobe suites. So when I wanted to create this fashion brand and I don't know anything about fashion, I just built a bunch of digital mock-ups and I was like, hey, can you make this? And then the manufacturers taught me fashion kind of backwards. They're the ones that told me this is what the seam is called, this is what a zipper is, this is what printing is, these are the materials, silk, cashmere, wool. I learned through them.
So you was learning on the fly.
Yeah, literally.
They say that's the best way, though.
It is because I think a lot of the designs, and we get a lot of great feedback on, like, how did you put this together? And it's because I didn't know how hard it was. Like, if I knew how difficult it was to get certain prints and patterns on fabric, I probably wouldn't have never even tried.
Right.
But since I didn't know, I just sent it, and they're like, we can, but it might be different. I was like, could you just try it? And it worked. So it kind of helped me.
I'm so super impressed with your story and your journey.
Thank you.
Because a lot of people grow up dreaming and say, this is what I want to be. You didn't say, I want to be a fashion designer.
Mm-mm.
And there was a far cry from what you were already involved in.
Oh, 100%.
So that was a big
But then you dived in, and then you just became like you were like for real. Like I've been stalking you. Like yes.
You.
Oh, so you're wearing your brand, right?
Yes. This is the first bomber jacket that we ever did, and this is the one that showed me like what's possible. Like once I saw this come in the mail. And I'll never forget because it came in and me and my sister are waiting on the sample to come in. And it comes in and it looks exactly like how it was on my computer. We literally get up, we're dancing on the porch.
Yes.
And we're like, yo, we did it.
Yeah.
And you just got a chance to see it all come together really well. And it's kind of been the story of my life is like say yes and figure it out later.
Yep.
Because I had no idea. People would come to me with different opportunities. That's how DC Fashion Week happened. That's really how New York Fashion Week happened.
Yep.
Because I just said yes, and then after the fact, I was like, okay, now let's get to work and let's figure out how to make it happen. And it's been paying off so far. So
you had already said yes to the project and then jumped in.
100%. Same thing with like leaving the big tech world. Like people still look at me crazy and like, are you okay? You walked away from all that money and you do all these things. And when you're working for a company like, and now I think I'm outside of my NDA, so I think I can say this. I work for Apple, and like that was the biggest kind of aha for a lot of people. Is like, what do you mean you're going to go do your own thing? You have all these benefits, you're making all this money at this big company. Why not stay here and just continue to progress? And I knew deep down that's not what I needed to be doing, and I didn't get fulfillment like I get when I'm doing this. And it's bigger than me. Like
I
this,
can relate.
This brand helped me have conversations with my parents that I never thought I could. So I can't put a price tag on that. Like I got to talk about childhood trauma that I never thought I would because I put something on, and my mom was like, "Well, what does that mean to you?" I was like, "Wow, I think that's the first time we really got that deep." So
wow, Doncel.
And so for you to say, a lot of people needed to hear what you say. My wife did the same thing recently, but to walk away something that you consider, you know, I say a bird in the hand. A lot of people feel secure with that. So to walk away from security is not always an easy thing. It's never really an easy thing. But to take a chance on yourself is a bigger brand. For me, it's a bigger situation. So you was bold enough to say, I'm betting on me.
100%.
I'm so proud
and it's
of you.
gonna always
Thank
pay
you.
off. It'll always pay off.
Thank you.
I'm so proud
I'm
of
glad
you.
you did that. That was the best decision I think you could have ever made.
Yep.
And like you said, it's going to open up more, even more. You just start, and it's going to open up tons of doors. You're going to meet some amazing people, and relationships is everything.
Have you met Claire
Absolutely.
yet? Fashion Bomb Daily?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, we're going to manifest that too.
Okay.
At New York Fashion Week, you're going to meet her.
Hey, let's
Okay.
get it. Yeah.
for
All right? And I love your bomber.
Yes.
And what's next for Doncel before we wrap up? What's next for you?
Ooh, so the biggest thing coming up is we're bringing the show back home. So a lot of supporters wanted to come up to New York Fashion Week, but obviously that's trip, travel, and everything. I never want the community, like where we started, to feel left out.
Right.
So we can officially announce that we'll be bringing our show back to DC in February, and I invite everybody to come out and
Spotlight
have
over
fun.
the city will be in the
the
building.
building.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I just want you to know I'm very proud of your journey. You're part of our Spotlight family. So anytime that our platform can help your journey, the answer is yes. Anytime you need to come back and give us some updates, it's a yes. We in.
Thank you.
You in there like swimwear.
Hey, let's go.
All right,
Okay.
I got time to poke at you real quick before we go.
Let's go.
You got 1 hour. You getting ready to make something successful happen. Who's your favorite artist? Who you gonna put in? You can't change once you put them in.
An hour car ride.
1 hour car ride.
Ooh,
What you got?
our car ride.
Whoever you put in got to stay there for an hour.
Dead or alive?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, that's an easy one. You say dead or alive?
Yeah.
Dead
It
or
don't matter.
alive.
I thought you were saying Biggie, dead or alive. I was ready to say me too.
Dang. Ooh,
Dead or alive.
if I'm going musical artist,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go with Jay-Z. I know that's like the go-to for a lot of people.
Well, that's an easy ride though.
We do that on our road trips a lot.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's that, people always say like, what would you rather take the dinner? Like, I want to know. I actually want to know how it goes. So yeah, I have to say Jay-Z.
There it
I
is.
love it.
I just wanted to get on the personal side because we always talk to you about your business and we talk to people about that. That's one of the questions I throw to them.
Yeah.
So
Thank
anyway, man,
What's,
it's a pleasure having you.
What's a way for people to support you and follow you?
Absolutely. So it's Generation Typo on all platforms. And then if you want to connect with me personally, which I love, it's just Doncel Brown on everything.
Doncel Brown.
Yay!
All right.
Thank you so
Give it
much.
up, give it up.
Y'all give it
Y'all
up.
give it up.
Yes.
I wanted
I'm
to show
so
that
excited
briefcase.
about that. Yes. All right.
next
We
up.
got more for you. We've got the amazing, the love. We got Black Girl Magic in the building. She's been waiting so patiently, and we cannot wait for you all to meet Miss Jade Mathis coming
Coming
up
up
after this
next.
next commercial break.
We'll be right back. Spotlight over the city.